So what's up, everybody? My name's Guy, and I want to tell you something. So me and Snack were playing some League, and someone brought to my attention that Amumu and Annie are a ding. Well, they're not actually a ding, but they're supposed to be a ding. So I took it upon myself to find some fanfiction about this, and I read one while playing with Snack in a League game, but this one I found completely on its own. So I decided I would just read this thing until the end. That's the plan. So here we go, guys. I got some very nice sun-kissed soda. To help with the reading. I think I'm only gonna read like chapter 1. If this is something you guys want me to do, then I'll totally do it. Reading League of Legends fanfiction, but for right now, this is just the first chapter. Because I am just being random, honestly. This is just something I randomly stumbled upon while I was reading with Snack, and I said, you know what, this would be a good video, so let's do it. Sunkiss. Amumu felt the words of his summoner echo through his thoughts as he ran through the jungle. He put complete faith in whoever this man was. He had no idea where he was going, and he could still hear Nihilus' footsteps behind him. He ran to a small bush and received the order to stop. He hidden before. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. After he had a heart, it would have assuredly stopped. When he saw Nihilus step into view, his body quaked as his red eyes of his foe scanned the area before he continued on through the jungle. Blue flooded Amumu as a blue light to recall glowed above him. Then quickly, one quick flash. You have been slain. Shin exited the bush, sheathing the swords he said he had recently used. Damn it, Amumu heard his summoner yell. He knew it was his fault. Nothing felt worse than failing people, and it seemed to be all he did. Ah, he respawned in a brilliant light and waited for someone to purchase more items and listened for how his team was doing without the jungle support. The merchant handed Amumu a sunfire cloak, and he was off again. Back to the lonely jungle, his boots assisted his speed. He took a red buff. Before an assistance ping came from top lane, and he was off that way. Jason was currently the top lane for their team. He was battling with Amumu, which Amumu would always consider more a jungle person. But that didn't matter now. The point was, Jason was quickly heading back to their turret and Amumu launched his bandages to blind Nunu to bind Nunu to the spot and kept him there with his curse. Jace followed up with a very hypercharged shot and finished the Yay off by bringing his hammer down on Willem's head. Nice job, Jace said before Amumu ran back into the jungle. But Amumu knew he didn't mean it. No one really ever meant the nice things they said to him, and next time he slipped up, they all hate him again. No, that's not true. We all hate Teemo. We all hate Teemo, right? Teemo's the worst. Towers went down, minions and champions died. Amumu's team was winning. He just knew that it was no thanks to him, but at the same time, whenever something bad happened, he felt in his bones he was like the curse, or he was the cause. To him, he didn't do well. Others did well. He just got in the way. That's how it was. Late game, his team was pushing down the mid, and had already destroyed 2 inhibitors. Things were looking good. And he had enough help to take on both towers as long as the other team didn't get back in or get in the way. The first time Stearns went down, before your allies been slain, Caitlyn just went down. She was behind the team. The rest of his team looked back at Nihilus, bringing up a rear, and the rest of the enemy team charging from behind their nexus. And this meant Amumu bound them all with his curse, the curse of a sad mummy, as his team dispatched Nihilus and made a break for it. But the enemy was too fast. They killed Amumu, and the enemy let loose a beam that took 2 more of his team. The enemy pushed down mid lane, all the way through the inhibitor turret. Through the inhibitor, blew past 2 turns and won the game. All unless they had time to take Amumu to respawn. To say Amumu blamed himself was a gross understatement. Alright. He made his way back to the Institute of War Its walls and cold doors seemed to be its only solitude for his shame. Its torches and chandeliers were the only pathways he drew comfortable to walk alone. And the institute was his home, but he wished it wasn't. It was a home, but it felt like a prison more often than not. Like he was stuck here, without any real purpose. He wondered where he came from, what his life used to be like, most of all, who he was. The questions had always plagued him. Recently was something good. Really, Netgear? Yeah, I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm reading story. Most of all, who he was. The questions I always... Okay, yeah. Recently, he had developed a new illness question. Could he feel anything but sadness? He wondered because he had been feeling something else. It wasn't sadness per se, but it was something good, something warm. And he felt it around. Stop right there. A familiarly sweet voice called to him. His bones froze. He did not move because I'm Annie. It! She cried, and it charged towards him. His bones remembered how to run, and he was off. Didn't this light... In this glide cage of his, Annie, his best and only friend, her words of genuine hugs were the warmest in the world, and her games were the most fun to play. She was the only one who could make him feel the way he did. But could he feel affection or even love? He spied a chandelier as he ran through his bandages to tangle around it, hoisting himself up where she couldn't get to him. Amumu! That's cheating! And he just offered the content laugh in response. Alright then, Annie devishly. Deviously smiled and drew her stuffed bear at the ground, smiling a massive beast, I can't read right now, of a bear. Get him down, Tibbers, she ordered and giggled. Tibbers did as the master commanded and picked Amumu off the chandelier and held him in front of Annie. You're it. She laughed and tapped him on the shoulder. Annie ran off. After that, Tibbers once again became the teddy bear at her side. Amumu dusted off his bandages and gave chase after her. She was fast, but he was faster. The magic imbued in his bones seemed to give him enough muscle strength to carry him, and he knew he'd catch Annie soon. She went left down the hallway. She knew his secret weapon in the game tag, and he was prepared to use it. Unfortunately for her, the hallway she turned down had no doors and no turns, only stairs. Those moves perfect chance. He launched his bandages as soon as they made contact. He pulled himself to her with all his might. They collided and rolled down the hallway in a small rolling pile of bodies and laughter until they collided with a firm object. Ah, Mumu, you're all wrapped up in me, Annie called from the floor. Sorry, he said, and he helped her off the ground. It was about that about this time they realized the object they hit was still hovering over them. It wasn't an object at all, rather. And the object wasn't an object at all, rather. It was a big hairy beast Nunu claimed as his best friend. Oh, I didn't know, Mumu said lowly. Hey, don't bump into me. Will like that. Or don't bump into him, Will up like that. You'll make him angry. He said sorry, and he finally stood in front of the Yay and his rider. I know, I just want to make sure that that wallop could crush him in an instant. Well, Amumu kicked your sorry butt this match today, and continued to defend her friend. Amumu wasn't sure what to do, so he just stood there next to her, looking sad as ever. Yeah, right, we totally won. He had more kills than you. Doesn't matter, I still won. You're a big jerk, and you're a little crybaby. Enough, a powerful voice cut the children off. They all looked where the voice came from. Ash stepped forward, her hood down, and her white hair flowing at her sides. What is this dreaming about? Amumu hit Will Lump, Nunu said first. No, you were in the way of our game, Annie spitefully countered. Please, Ash silenced them and knelt down to Amumu. Can you tell me what happened? He began as Nunu gave him an intimidating look. But Annie returned to glare for him. Annie and I were playing and tagged, and I tripped her and rolled and hit Nunu. Amumu spat out almost too quick for Ash to catch. I'm sorry, he added at the end, and Ash just smiled and patted him on the head. It's okay, she said warmly. Nunu and Annie apologized to each other. Sorry, Nunu reluctantly said, refusing to look at Annie. I'm sorry too, A, returned the jester. I guess that's the best I'll get, Ash shrugged. Come on, you Dree. Can you get some food in you? Yes, Nunu cheered. Oh, wait. Yes, Nunu cheered, or Willem to follow Ash. A was prepared to follow, but didn't hear Mumu's footsteps behind her, and she turned to check on her friend. Are you coming? He began. Yes, you are, she answered for him, with a cheery smile and pulled his wrappings to lead him off, as she did so many times before. Ash confused Mumu. Sometimes she was the warmest woman in the world, sometimes she was the title of Ice Queen. It all depended on who she was talking to. She was kind to him and Annie, but whenever Sejuni showed up, she turned sour, which confused Amumu. Sejuni was a fierce opponent, but didn't really deserve such treatment, did she? Oh yeah, Sejuni's the one that rides the creature, isn't she? Yeah, I guess her. I'm trying to figure out where I was because I can't find it now. Where was I? Oh, he didn't know. He just knew Aang was dragging him to the Royalty dining room, which made the traditional mess hall look unfit for even a rat. As Aang pulled him through the doors, the atmosphere changed almost instantly. Pelts of great animals littered the ground, paintings of warlords and pioneers of ice, and altars of Anivia could be found all around the room. The walls were stone, the floor was cold. It was if someone had picked up a piece of Freljord and attached it to the Institute. Take a seat wherever you like, Ash spoke to the children. Though Nunu, I appreciate if Willem didn't sit at the table. This is yay discrimination, Nunu protested, but ultimately found Willem happy to be away from the rest of the group. Aang let Nunu wrap himself back together, and the two took seats near the head of the table, where Nunu sat opposite of them. Aang took a fine dining table long enough to seat 30 large men, but they only sat one woman and 3 children. Wait, Nunu's a child? Oh, yeah, I guess, well, Nunu is a child. He's not the yay. Okay. Where was I? It was at this moment she realized there was no food on the dining table, just plates and silverware. Miss Ash, Aang raised her hand as if she was at school. Where's the food? I'm getting over a cold right now. It should be arriving any moment, Ash said with a warm smile. Simple discussion would pass the time easily. Okay, Aang cheered. What do we talk about? Anything you want. The 3 children looked at each other for a moment, stretching their minds to come up with a topic to discuss until the food arrived. The weather, Nunu put forth. That's lame, Aang quickly responded. How about fire? That's even lamer, Nunu called out. Wait, I'm trying to figure out where I am. Miss Ash, I have a question. Mumu raised his hand and caught attention of the others in his party. What's love feel like? Oh wow. This Ash did not expect was taken aback upon first hearing. Why do you ask? Was her first initial response, but Mumu only shrugged. Yeah, I want to know too. And the news spoke up. Me, Dree, Aang joined in. Alright, come on, Ash. Love is painful at times. Every time your love is hurt, it's almost like you're being hurt too. Just this feeling in your chest. Love sucks, Nunu interrupted with a snort. But love is also a warmth. There's a sense of completeness with your love, just knowing that someone will be there when no one else will. That no matter what happens, there will always be someone who just loves you, simply because you are you. That's nice, Nunu. Love is so many feelings, Amumu. I honestly couldn't tell you what it feels like. Exactly. But I think of my king, the weight of the world is a tad easier to bear. She's finished her speechlessness of the children. I don't suppose there's a less serious topic we could discuss. How about dinner? I don't know how to say this guy's name. I've been calling him Trin this entire time. Trindamir's voice came from the far end of the dining hall as servants walked in with platters of food. I see you brought guests. I did. I pray you didn't mind. I pray you don't mind. No. The more the merrier, Amumu watched as the barbarian king approached Ash, and how lovingly he kissed her. For such a powerful warrior of the field of justice, it was nice to see his softness side show. Miss Ash, Annie raised her hand again and contacted the others. Why don't you have a baby? I bet he'd be the cutest. As soon as those words left her lips, it was as if she asked to start a rune of war. But both Trinamir and Ash felt silent. Their faces tightened. It was clear Annie said something wrong. Ash's eyes fell to the floor for a moment, but Trinamir cupped her face and picked her back up and smiled. I'll cut some roast boar, he told her and kissed her on the forehead. Okay, she was still shaking and Annie sucked into her CLO. Okay. I'm sorry, she whispered to Trinamir as he passed, and he patted her on the head. Nothing to be sorry about. You're fine. I'll cut you a piece in a moment. Annie leaned over to Amumu. What did I say? But Amumu just shrugged again. Maybe she doesn't want a baby, he guessed. I'm guessing something happened. I've never read Ash's lore, so I wouldn't know. Oh no, another was my cup. Thank God there was nothing in it. I drank all of that. Sun-kissed. Nunu and Annie ate to their heart's content, but surprisingly a large amount, before bidding the frail royalty goodbye. Amumu left Annie to go back to his room, and walked as slow as physically possible. He did his best thinking about when he walked. Yeah, I do too. I agree with Amumu. I do my best thinking about I actually go jogging when I want to think clearly. Or take a shower. As soon as I do, I take a shower or go on a jog when I have to think about something really. I talk to myself as well. Which is why I do YouTube, because it's like the best passive to think about. I get more soda. He wanted to believe that the feeling of hope he felt around Annie was love. That he could feel something other than sadness. The part of him just thought he was just being too hopeful. That he was just fooling himself into believing he felt love when truly he could not feel such a thing. Annie's question that drew the two adults off so much did cause him a quick thought, but not after really paid mind to it. He found his way to his room. Sorrowfully opened the door and sat on the floor. He sat in bed, but he didn't see much point. No matter how long he closed his eyes, he never fell asleep. He just cried a little more, so he continued some dots. Aww, I feel so sorry for Amumu. That's sad. The way Ash described love was similar to how he felt around his red-headed friend, but love usually replicated. If she didn't love him, there was no way he could actually be feeling love, and there was no way such a girl could love him. It baffled him why she was even his friend. So it must be some other emotion. But what then? If not love, perhaps it was happiness? No. His tear never dried. It just slowed down when Annie was around. Ultimately, the only conclusion he could come to was, he didn't know. He had no idea to what extent he could feel. He didn't know anything about himself, just sadness. He wanted to believe he could love Annie, that she truly was important to him, but he didn't know. And he needed to find out. With all the speed he could muster, he burst out of the room and ran towards Annie's dorms. He ran past guards and champions alike. Even Keenan, I don't know who that is, seemed impressed by the little mummy's speed. He made his way to the women's dorms, slamming the wooden door, falling to the floor. Hello? Annie opened the door while Amumu clustered around. Amumu, she slapped his cheek a little, wake him up. He jumped up awake. Oh, hi, Annie. Amumu, she giggled. Do you need something? I'll go to Shurima. His voice was about as precise as it could get, which still wasn't much, but it was something. Shurima, the same place you were born in? Well, woke up after being dead, but yes. And I want you to come with me. Annie was silent for a moment, as if judging whether or not he was serious. Why are you going? Because I need to figure out. Figure out what? A thing. Please, Annie. You're my best friend. I don't want to go without you. Annie went silent again. Her eyes seemed to move every time she died. It was the most contemplative thing. I don't know. I'm too tired to think right now. Contemplative thing he ever seen her. He even seen her. Okay, she smiled with a very serious smile. Let's go, Shurima. Thank you. Amumu tried to smile but failed. And he got a message, Dro, and hugged him. Should I back in? A asked. Actually, are we even allowed to leave? This didn't occur at Amumu. Clearly, clearly the league guard standing in this hallway, stiff and stalwart, he stood. Amumu approached him, looking sad as ever. He touched the armor that covered his leg. The guard looked and raised an eyebrow for his little moment. Can I leave? Leave? Yes, I suppose. The guard answered, confused by the question. Okay, I'm going to Shurima. Amumu said and walked back to Annie. Well, the guard stopped. You can't just leave the institute. But you said you can go down to the head Summers and request an absence note. But just so Summers aren't confused where you are. Okay, Amumu continued walking. It was difficult to tell if he was sad or if he was just sad as ever. Amumu gathered Annie and they walked together to the institute searching for the head summoner, which was far more difficult than it should have been. All the hallways were familiar, but they all seemed to bleed into one. Soon they found themselves in circles. It was already far past their bedtime, so their wandering woes accumulated into a loud, ear-splitting cry from Annie, which probably led Amumu to cry in the middle of the hallway. Ash removed her robe and climbed into bed. Trindameter watched his wife with a heavy heart. He knew... Wait, they're married? He knew her mind was still stuck on dinner conversations, and he offered no words to comfort her. He just placed her hand on her shoulder, which is fine. I'm sorry, she whispered. He made me sorry about my queen. He lied next to the bed to her, and she turned so they would with her face on the pillows. But what will we do without an heir? The question presents itself. I know it will. Can we try again tonight? How do you say this word? Apothecary said. I know. What we said, and yes, tonight, she pleaded. Very well. Let's try again. Ash smiled and passionately kissed Trinidad in their bed. The kiss is not in, as she slid herself on top of him, and... Okay, this is getting really, interesting, though. This is going somewhere. Whoa, that cry from outside that killed the mood very fast, and both let her sob as to see where the cry came from. Was that Annie? Trinidad asked. I have no idea. Ash slipped her robe back on and hurried herself to the door. Annie, she called, entering the hallway. Trinidad, as the crying continued. Annie, where are you? And they followed the crying until they found a dark child and a sad mummy wrapped up in each other's arms and very audibly crying. She picked him up, spread to hugging them close. Miss Ash, Annie said through the tears. Shh. Ash continued to hold them, so rocking it in a slow rocking motion. It didn't take long for the children and their tears would soon dry. Well, except for Amumu, because he can't dry his. Ash sat back on the ground. Now, why are you crying? I don't know where the head summoner is. Amumu looked down lowly. The head summoner trainer spoke up. Why are you looking for him? Amumu wants to go back to Shurima because he needs to figure out something. Annie asked for her friend. What do you need to figure out? Ash followed up, but Amumu buried himself even further in matches. Well, let's go see him anyway. She led the way through the hallways until they found a small office with a dainty-looking woman on the desk. Greetings, champions, this woman spoke. How can I be assistant? Is Maximilian here? Maximilian in, Ash asked. He's asleep. I'm sure he can take a call from the Queen of Freljord. And the woman began to place some magical spells in her hands. Not Queen, yet. Ash whispered to herself. Oh man, she's not the Queen either? Okay, he'll see you now. Thank you. Ash led the children inside the office. At the center of the room sat a man, not in the best shape of his life, but it could be far worse. His eyes were as gray as his hair, and his robe was displayed with royal colors in reds and purples. Ash, Trinder, Annie, Amumu, you're not drooped to see at 9 o'clock at night, the man spoke with hardly a chuckle. Sorry to disturb you, Ash began, as he did in absence form. What's a furrier for you then? He chuckled again and drew out some paperwork. Not for me, Amumu and Annie. Excuse me? I'm going to show you And Amumu spoke up. Well, I suppose that's fine, but A can't go. What? Why? A demanded. Amumu was dead. Nothing could happen to him. But you, my dear sweet A, you're very much alive. I need you to stay that way. You're very popular here in the league, and I'm very content with peace. That Sterling is currently residing in the Valoran after Noxians crashed a mile-high tank in Demacia. I'll need a parent signature or a legal guardian to sign off. But my mom... Yeah, I need some more. Need some more soda in my life. But mommy and daddy are hiding, and he continued to protest. I can't get their signatures. Then Amumu will simply have to travel alone. The head summer concluded that Rome fell in silence on the first enemies. Amumu didn't want to be alone again. He never wanted to be alone again. But Annie's parents weren't about to drop out of the sky. What if I went with them? Ash offered. What? The head summoner and Trin said in Eugen? I could provide an escort party. Keep Annie safe and fed. Think some time away from the league could do me some good. Or do me good. If you leave, I must go with you, Trinamir said in Eugen. I could provide an escort party. Keep Annie safe. Well, no, I've read that already. I need you here, love. We can't leave our champions here without direction. I know you keep them strong. That caused Trinamir to back down. But he didn't seem happy about it. I suppose that will do. If okay with the children here. Yes, Annie cheered, and Amumu seemed less sad in this moment. Very well, Ash. You're Annie's legal guardian for the next 2 weeks. I trust that that'll be enough time to do whatever you plan to do. Yes, sir, Amumu bowed. You're all free to leave tomorrow morning. I'm going to bed. If you always look kind of leave my office, that'd be wonderful. And that is chapter 1 of Love's Curse, guys. I will link it in the description if you guys want to read it yourself. I apologize for the terrible reading. I am tired. I am getting over a cold. But yeah, for now, just leave a like, a comment, for comments later. Peace.